What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. AMC ending the day green, just barely. But in this video, we need to talk about the blatant manipulation that occurred this morning. And I'm not talking solely about the fact that they halted AMC. I'm talking about the events and the minutes before the halt, why it was complete manipulation, and how actually algorithms completely took advantage of this. I'm going to break everything down for you, give you my thesis behind it. Let's get right into it. First off, let's take a look at AMC. It held $28 level of support very well. Volume started to rise going into market open. As soon as we opened at $30.09, we're getting $4 move to the upside, back into that level of resistance that I'd mentioned in yesterday's video, around that 33.90 area. A little bit of rejection, which was normal, especially with that quick of a move to the upside, followed by a downside halt. When I saw AMC moving like this, and then I got an alert saying I had a downside halt, I was completely taken back. And before I explain to you exactly why, I want to share with everybody just what a stock halt is and how it works. A single stock halt occurs, all right, when the price moves in either direction 10% or more within 5 minutes. All right. Now, a downside halt generally is there to protect you and the entire market. You also have circuit breaker halts when the entire stock market moves 7%. All right. And it is really to prevent another Black Monday, especially if you do have a lot of stop losses set. I mean, a stock can literally drop down 50% in the matter of a minute, and your equity could just be completely wiped out. So it is designed to protect investors. And there are times I have been stuck in downside halts. I immediately get out of them when they open up, and it probably did save me a few bucks. However, to the upside, it actually does halt buying pressure to an extent, and I'm going to explain that in just a minute, okay? But keep that in mind, 10% or more within 5 minutes. Now, here's where my problem lies. I said to everybody just a minute ago that we opened up at $30.09. If you look at that first candle, it says open 30.09. And if I drag my clicker from that 30.09 level and I go within 5 minutes, which is exactly where we are, you could see on my screen, 5 bars, it says 4 minutes, but that's the difference between, but 5 bars, 5 minutes, I am at $34 even, and we've already moved 13% from the open, but there was no upside halt. So why was there no upside halt, but there was a downside halt? And I know here's where things change, okay? I've been investing in stocks long enough that a couple things occurred. One, whenever there is an initial halt, when I get an alert for it, I always go into that stock, okay? Two, there are algorithms that specifically track halt bands. They know when a stock is moving, what that price point is, okay, in a 10% range within 5 minutes. And a lot of times when I am trading, all right, a momentum stock, a buyout, play, a low cap, small float, whatever, you can see the time and sales in the tape on the right-hand side. And whatever that halt band is, let's say it would have been, 33.53. All of a sudden, as soon as we hit that and we halt, you see the massive green coming right in because the algorithms all get in before. And immediately after that, there is a limit sell at the pop. A lot of times after the first halt, there's a jump. And the reason why it halts is because they literally need to collect all of the shares and sort out the volume because the clearinghouse cannot handle it. All right. And that's why a lot of times you see a jump followed by a little bit of a pullback, a curl around, and a continuation. These patterns are very, very predictable. All right. But here's what happened. It didn't halt to the upside. And I think all these algorithms had caught that. And that's what caused a massive sell-off to occur. And when I watched the tape on this, it wasn't even bloody red. Okay. But as you can see here from the downside, from let's just say 34.19 to where we halted, we moved, 14%? Sure. But it's still, we read the rules, 10% within 5 minutes, and it didn't halt to the upside. So it's really like, why didn't it halt to the upside, but it halted to the downside? And like I said, once the algorithms just took over, it was a complete blatant manipulation. Now, here's where things get a little bit dicey. So like I said to you, that it should have halted to the upside based on, one, my experience, and two, what we specifically just read right here, 10% or more within 5 minutes. But then I was also over on Reddit. Okay, actually, saw this on Twitter, and it took me over to Reddit. But these individuals were getting in the money notifications prior to the halt. Okay, now if it happened when the halt occurred, a lot of times you will see the bid and ask on these just wide open. All right, a lot of times if it's halted to the upside, you might see the bid at, 50, 60, $70. All right, it's because you're in the middle of a halt. It's very normal. But for them to say that this occurred before the halt leads me to believe that there was supposed to be an upside halt. And when there wasn't, that triggered the algorithms to just immediately sell, 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 because it didn't get a halt. All right. And like I said, if you've watched these halts before, if you've been in the market long enough, you'll know that after the first one specifically, a lot of times you get a big jump out of it, especially when there's volume behind it. All right. If there's a low float stock, all right, pumping on very low volume. Okay. However, 2.5 million shares in the first minute, all right, and 14.5 million shares in the first 5 minutes is not low volume. I'm talking about when you see an upside halt to 30, 40, 50,000 shares. Yeah, it's just probably just a couple people in there. It's not a massive group of people and funds. So you will see a pullback, but when you see volume like this, it's a massive explosion after the first time halt. And that is blatant manipulation. Now, does that lie specifically on the market maker, on the clearinghouse? Unfortunately, I don't know that answer. All right, but I do know this was blatant manipulation. It still held up very strong throughout the entire day. I'll switch over to the 5 minute. We still are above that $28 level. If you do zoom out to the daily chart, you can see that same level of resistance that I had. All right, and we are still above yesterday's close, which is a good sign. All right, it is a little bit of an indecisive candle, and it was red, obviously, because we gapped up going into the market close. We did have good volume today, 211 million shares. It'll be nice to see a continuation going into this. However, keep this in mind, talk to whoever you need to talk to. I would really love to get more information on specifically why there was no upside, which eventually led to a downside because the algorithms took over. And even like I said, when I watched the tape, it wasn't bloody red. So guys, that is it for this video. The fight is not over. I'll see you in the next one.